So here is the final iteration of the shorts, cached at a very high solver setting of 10 and 10, 10 for subsets, 10 for max collisions, and it's looking good. Everything is animating properly. Yeah, I really like how the loose hanging fabric turned out. But I did make a few changes though. When I was done from where we left off in the last lesson, I noticed that the ruptured fabric was simulating very badly. It was creating some zigzag shapes, and that is not what I wanted. It looked really horrible. So I had to go in and make some modifications to the property maps. So the first property map that I painted was for the bend resistance. So let me get the shorts over here. Isolated. So I went back in here to the bend resistance, and if you remember in the past lesson I painted these ruptured fabric, this loose hanging fabric, to have a 0 bend resistance. I went in there and repainted them to have 0.6 because that's what the issue was. They were being allowed to bend too much, and they were producing, because this is fairly low res geometry, they were producing some very horrible zigzag shapes. I just noticed that the smooth modifier is not on. That's weird. Oh, okay. I guess when you go into the weight painter, it shows the original mesh without this smooth modifier. Okay, and the next thing I did was go back in and created a property map and did some weight painting for the damp. This didn't have any weight painting, so I came in here and made sure the whole thing had 1, which means it at a value of 1 it takes my maximum value of damp here. But I came to the ruptured fabric and I decided to make it 0.2, so I painted them to have 0.2 dampening. I did this because I decided that I do want this ruptured fabric to flutter through the air, to cut through the air very aggressively. They were feeling really swimmy at a dampening of 50, and that just wasn't working, so I really needed them to hop around and bounce around, because if you look at my original animation, when I had control systems for them, that's how I want to animate them, really fluttery, so I can get some nice overlapping action. So I went in there and painted at 0.2 for the damp. The next thing I want to talk about is input orders. So let me get out of this, bring back my scene. Okay. As I mentioned before, these meshes are already controlled by a control-driven blend shape system, and that's supposed to work on top of the nCloth, whether the nCloth is simulating in real time or whether the nCloth is being played back as a cached result. So let me bring back my control system, go to show, and go to, it's supposed to show, go to polygons, there we go. Okay, so this is the entire control system for the shorts. I'm going to move back to about, oh, there. All right, okay. So this control system here, I should be able to pull it and the pocket should open. It took a really long time because this is, you're asking it to do a lot. But yeah, I should be able to open the pockets on top of the cached simulation. It's gone back because I have a few keys here, but you get the idea. I should be able to open it. Now, in order for that to work correctly, I have to make sure my input order is correct for this particular piece, because this is the only piece that really has a control-driven morph target or control-driven blend shape on it that is wrapped to our simulation mesh. So in order for that to work, I do have to come into the input order here and go to all inputs and make sure that my blend shape is at the bottom of the stack, meaning that it's evaluating before the wrap deformer. So if you do have anything like that, if you do want to be able to put additional control systems on your clothing that's sitting on top of the simulation mesh, make sure that things like blend shapes and other deformers are sitting underneath the wrap deformer. The next thing I'm going to do is start with the organization process for this entire system. Let me turn on the jacket to show how it plays in conjunction with the shorts. Turn off the shorts collision mesh. Should showcase this. Yeah. Collectively, they play like the way I sort of hand keyed it. I guess more realistic. Yeah. And I'm able to scrub because I cached. But for the purpose of organization, I'm going to disable these caches. So I'm going to go back to frame 1. And I'm going to select the 2 nCloth meshes. And I'm going to go to nCache and disable all caches. And now when I scrub, the clothing should not follow. Okay, let me start the organization process. So first thing I'm going to do is grab all these nodes that are a result of wrap deforming all these meshes to the simulation meshes, and I'm going to group them together. I'm going to call them clothing meshes wrap deform to nCloth. That is a lot, but I like to use really descriptive naming so I know what I'm looking at when I come back. And where this is going to go is it's going to sit underneath my model group. If you have a rig, you have a group that's holding all your geometry, and this is going to sit underneath that group. So I'm going to put it under my model group, parent. Next thing I'm going to deal with is the collision mesh for the shorts. I'm also going to group that. Call it collision mesh for shorts. And like all the other passive colliders, it's going to also be sitting inside the geometry group, but on the outside, along with those wrap deformers. All the other collision meshes are in here. This one's going to sit out here. Next thing I want to do is take all the nCloth nodes, so the nucleus, the nCloth nodes, and the dynamic constraints, and I'm going to put them in a group. And I'm going to call them nCloth nodes. I'm going to rename them accordingly. This is the first one I did, it's the jacket. This is the body. This is the mesh top. And this is the head, rigid body. This dynamic constraint is the first one for the jacket sleeves. This nCloth is the shorts. This rigid body is the shorts collision mesh. Should be consistent with the naming. And this is the point to surface constraint for the jean shorts. Okay. I'm going to take them and dump them in a group over here called extra nodes that I created that does not move with the global transform. So I'm going to select all of them and put them here. They really could sit on the outside here, but just for organization purposes, I want to put them here. And I've grouped them because I'm very shortly going to create a custom attribute that allows me to toggle these systems on and off. Because when I'm animating, I don't want them in the scene distracting me and end up mistakenly picking it because I'm trying to select a control. So I'm going to toggle it off. The last thing we're going to organize is our simulation meshes. So I'm going to select the jacket, select the jean shorts, group them, call them nCloth simulation meshes. And they are going to sit in my global move group. So they need to move with the rig. So in my global move group, under my global transform, which is this root controller, the nCloth systems are going to sit underneath here. So I'm going to select it and hit P to put them underneath it. So they're right there. So this is how they're supposed to be organized. The next thing I'm going to do is create custom attributes to toggle my nCloth systems on and off, and to, like I said before, turn off my nCloth nodes. So let me get started. I'm going to put them underneath a settings controller that I have over here that holds a lot of similar attributes for the rig. So I'm going to start by creating an attribute that acts as a divider, and I'm going to call it nCloth, just so I know that this is my nCloth section. Everything beneath it is my nCloth section. And I'm going to make it a float, just displayable, and hit add. And it's just going to sit there with this gray tick. And the first thing I'm going to do is create an attribute to toggle my nCloth systems on and off. So I'm going to call that nCloth systems, and check the nice name. This is how it's going to print. So this is going to be a Boolean. I'm going to hit add. The next one I'm going to create is to toggle my jacket's nCloth setting on and off. So I'm going to call it jacket nCloth toggle. Okay. I'm going to make sure the nice name is. And that I'm going to make an enumerator, and I'm going to go off and on. The attribute is going to control acts like an enumerator. That's what I'm using it for this. And I'm going to go add. I'm going to create one for the shorts. Shorts nCloth toggle. I'm going to make sure the nice name is cool. It's also going to be a num. It's going to be off or on. And add. And the last one is going to be used to toggle the passive colliders on and off, their nCloth feature. So I'm going to go passive colliders toggle. And they're also going to be an enum. They're going to be off or on. Okay, let me start connecting them. So I'm going to start with the nCloth systems here. So that's the group I just created over there. I'm going to go to my connection editor, load it on the right, filter out for visibility. And then I'm going to select this custom controller, select the custom attribute from here, nCloth systems, and pipe it into the visibility of that node. So now I should be able to slide back and forth to toggle on all my nCloth systems if I need to select them. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is deal with the jackets nCloth enable and disable. So to do that, I'm going to go back into under my global move where I put my simulation meshes and show them. Now I'm going to go, actually no, we don't need the simulation meshes. Where I need to be is right here, the nCloth node. So what I'm looking for is the shape node of this nCloth jacket node. So I'm going to select it, hit the down key. That should give me access to the shape node. You should see it selected there. And I'm going to reload it to the right. And I'm looking for a parameter called isDynamic. Let me try to find it again. Select, reload, there it is. And I'm going to connect my jacket nCloth toggle to isDynamic. I should be able to access it from here. So I'm going to do it for the shorts now. So I'm going to select the shorts, hit the down arrow, reload, and there it is. So I'm going to connect the shorts cloth toggle to isDynamic. And then I'm going to now do it for the passive colliders. So I'll select all passive colliders, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit the down key to access their shape nodes, reload all of them. And that's all there is dynamic parameters. So I'm going to test it by simply selecting these nodes. Actually, let me pick one at a time. Let's do a quick test here. By selecting this node, that's the parameter there. I'm going to copy tab just to have it on the side, and then toggle to see if it's gonna actually work. This is for the jacket, so if I take the jacket and I turn it on, yeah, it turns the feature on, and off turns it off. And let me see for the shorts. So if I do a copy tab, same deal, off, on, yep, and then off. Okay, and then I'll just test one passive collider, or I'll just actually select it, turn the passive colliders, they're already off, so I'll go check by simply selecting them. Yep, and they're all off, off, off. And when they go on, yeah, you have to test these things. They can be a headache. You think you have something connected and it's not. So now they are on, and they should be on now. Let me check that. No, it's not on. So this is what I'm talking about. It appears to be a problem. I may not have connected it properly. Let me go back to the connection editor. Select these passive colliders. Go to the nCloth rigid bodies, hit the down key, reload them. Okay, it looks like they're connected to something else. They should be connected to this parameter. I may have mistakenly connected them to that. So, yeah, this is why you have to check sometimes. It's very easy to make mistakes. All right, so it should be connected now. So if I select this and it's on, if I select any one of these passive colliders, it should be on. That's right. And that one is also on, and our shorts collision. Did I hide that mesh? Shorts collision. Okay, just default select. Okay, that's also on. Let's do a quick off. Make sure I got it. Yep. So that looks about right. So they're all off, off, off. Okay, so it's working. Let me turn all this stuff back on because we have a bonus lesson and I need everything to be working and on. The next thing I'm going to do is concerning this shorts collision mesh. This shorts collision mesh, as you saw me do, is connected to my main body by a wrap deformer. Now wrap deformers are very expensive, and whilst I'm animating, I'm not thinking about cloth and I don't need this wrap deformer to be on. So I want to make sure I turn it off until it's time to do cloth simulation. So that is another attribute I'm going to add over here, down here, under the nCloth section. So I'm going to go to Edit, Add Attribute, and I'm going to call it Shorts Collision Wrap Def. All right, check the nice name. Parameter is going to be connected to is a Boolean value, so I'm going to select Boolean and hit Add. Go to my connection editor and load it on the left. And what I'm trying to connect it to is the wrap deformer of this collision mesh. So I'm going to come over here and look for it. And it should be right there, wrap JS nCloth collider. So I'm going to select it, reload it, and I'm looking for the envelope value. So I'm going to connect my shorts wrap deform to that envelope value. And I'm going to do a quick test. So I'm going to turn it, so it's off. So now that it's off, if I was to click anywhere on this timeline and move, it should not follow along. So it's working. And if I turn it back on, click over here, it should follow along. So it's fine. We've got that sorted out. The next thing I'm going to work on is a set of custom attributes to toggle my simulation meshes and their wrap deformer envelopes. As I mentioned before, wrap deformers are very expensive, And when I start simulating nCloth for my new animation, I don't want these wrap deform relationships to be simulating. I want to be able to just watch the simulation mesh and analyze it and make sure it's simulating properly. And then when everything is working and I'm ready to cache, as I did in this course, I'll turn these meshes on and turn on their wrap deformer relationships to the simulation mesh. So I already have the shorts and the jacket on their respective setting controls, their visibility. So if I select this lower torso settings, I can turn off my jeans shorts. So that's something that I set up for the rig. Same with the jacket, I can select the jacket and turn it on and off. So I'm going to add parameters to each of these to toggle on and off the simulation mesh, because that one, at the moment, you see I'm turning it on and off in the outliner. So I want to make it accessible over here. So I'm going to start here, and actually I can select both of them to create the divider. I'm going to go add attribute, and go nCloth, select displayable, float, and add. So that way anything under these I know is related to nCloth. And I'll start with the shorts and create a parameter called shorts nCloth simulation mesh. That is too long, so I'm going to reduce it down to sim, or I think I'm going to go with shorts simulation mesh. I like that better. I like the word. I want to see simulation there. So this is the nice name. I like it. And I'm going to connect this parameter to visibility, which is a Boolean. So I'll just add that. Okay. And I'll do the same for the jacket. It's jacket simulation mesh. Check the nice name. Looks good. Boolean. Go add. Okay. Now this is a simple connection. I'm going to open the connection editor. Make sure this control is selected. Reload it to the right. And then select my simulation meshes, which are sitting underneath here. Looking for the shorts first. Reload it in. Filter by visibility. And connect the simulation mesh to visibility. I just realized that these are really not that descriptive, so I do want to add visibility, a shortened form of the word visibility. So I'm going to go edit attribute and go simulation mesh viz, and over here add viz to the nice name. Close. So yeah, that'll let me know. Understand what I'm looking at. I'll do the same for here. Go edit attribute, look for it, and add viz, and add viz to the nice name, and close. Okay, so now it's time to connect the jacket. I reload it here, select the jacket, load it on the right, select the custom attribute, connect to visibility. So now I should be able to toggle off the jacket, toggle on the visibility mesh, and vice versa. Okay. Now it's time to disable and enable the wrap deformers. So it looks like I did a good job renaming the wrap deformers for the shorts, but not for the jacket. So I'm going to go into the jacket and rename the wrap deformers correctly so I can identify them. This wrap deform is the K logo to body to jacket body. And with everything wrapped to the nCloth simulation meshes, I'm going with a particular naming convention, and I'm going with, so this would be jacket body to nCloth, and this would be jacket collar to nCloth. This would be jacket sleeves to nCloth. Jacket ribbing sleeve to nCloth. We have two more. This is jacket bottom panel to nCloth. And this one is jacket, waist, ribbing to nCloth. Okay, next thing is I'm going to create the custom attribute that's going to toggle off their envelopes for their wrap deformers. So I'm going to go to edit, add attribute, call it jacket nCloth wrap def. Look at the nice name, make sure the nice name is correct. It's jacket nCloth wrap def, and this is also going to be a boolean. I'm going to copy this. Just add and do one for the shorts too. Shorts is going to be shorts. Make sure the nice name is correct. And add it as a boolean. Okay. So now it's time to wire them to their respective envelopes. So I'm going to select this, reload it on the right, so I have access to that parameter. And now I'm looking for all the wrap deformers. I don't think there's a way for me to select them all at once, so this one is going to be a little tedious. I'm going to select there, select, reload, look for envelope, and connect it. So that's the body. I'm going to do the ribbing, looking for that, select it, reload it here, connect the envelope. I'm going to go to the bottom panel, it's there, select it, reload, connect. And I'm going to go to the bottom ribbing, select, reload, connect, and go to the sleeves, there, select, reload, connect, and the ribbing. Select, reload, connect, save. I haven't done so in a while. Okay, so now it's time to test if these are actually working. I'm going to select the jacket. Actually, no, let me do the shorts first, real quick. So I'll select the shorts. It already has the parameter, so I'll reload it on the left. Select it, and then select the first piece of shorts that's wrap deformed. Look for its node. There. Select. Reload right. Connect it. And I want the inside pockets. I'm going to go here. Select it. Reload. Connect. And do the same for the ruptured fabric. Select it. Reload. Connect. And then the last one would be the innards over here. And it looks like it hasn't been named correctly, so I'm going to name it fabric innards to nCloth. Okay. Select it, reload, connect it. So now what I'm going to do to make sure they're both working, so I'm going to select these two parameters and turn them off. They're already off, I'm sorry. Okay, so they're off. And now I'm going to hit the play button and make sure that none of these meshes are following my simulation meshes or the animations. So let me hit play, save first, hit play. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. The way I like to check to make sure I'm good is to select the jacket group, layer, isolate it, make sure I don't see any deformation. Just a quick way to check to make sure all the wrap deformers are in fact connected correctly. Do the same for the shorts, select it, isolate it, and it also seems to be intact. It did not deform with the animation. So the system is working. I'm gonna go back and turn the wrap deformers back on in preparation for the next section. Okay, so the wrap deformers are connected. So the next thing I'm going to move on to is making sure that this nCloth system actually works with this rig. So this is a scalable rig. I should be able to move it, rotate it, and scale it up, and the nCloth system should follow correctly. So what I'm going to do is start off by selecting my global transform. I'm going to move it to the side, and I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to scale it up. Now, if everything is working correctly, if all my organization is correct, when I hit play, they should simulate and all these point to surface constraints should snap to locations. So I'm going to hit play to test it. First, I'll do a save. Hit play. And there they are. They just snapped to location. Let's see if everything moves correctly. I'm going to stop it around there and just do an inspection to make sure everybody's moving in accordance. So if I select my jean shorts, isolate them, they appear to be moving. Select my jean shorts and my simulation mesh, they are connected and moving. Do the same for my jacket and its simulation mesh. They should be at the same place, all moving. So yeah, it works with the rig. You can scale the rig, move the rig, and everything is going to work. Now I'm going to go back to 0 and reposition my rig. And if I hit play, the point to surface constraint should jump back into position. So I think that's it for the cleanup. Now this system is ready to be used, and I can move on to the next part of this lesson. Even though you watched me use this workflow for my project, it is important to understand that this approach may require some unique tweaks to work for your project. Leather and denim are some of the heaviest and rigid behaving clothing materials. If you are dealing with lighter and stretchier materials, you will need to fine-tune compression, stretch, and bend resistance to your needs. If you are also going for a very hyper-realistic simulation, you will have to play with more dynamic settings. I needed something that produced believable cloth for a stylized character. And at the same time, I wanted the most amount of control, even if it meant defying the natural behavior of the specified materials. So you watched me set a lot of unrealistic values for nCloth properties and do a lot of weight painting to make my nCloth behave uniquely in certain areas. So make sure to let this workflow just be a starting point for what you're trying to do and not a universal solution for resolving cloth for your project. I have a 3D animated dance project under production that is going to delve deeper into this nCloth workflow. I will be using this technique to simulate a plethora of materials and also establishing an interesting workflow for dealing with challenging nCloth simulation problems. Subscribe to keep an eye out for that project. If you made it this far, I appreciate your viewership. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please like and share so I can make more.